for him. And you know what? Not a single Democrat is here today because not a single one of them gives a damn about the fact that they lied to the American people for 4 years. They knew. Every one of them knew that Joe Biden was mentally not competent to do the job. The White House press secretary, she knew when she stood in front of the American people and lied over and over and over again. And they're not here because they can't defend themselves. It wasn't a surprise. For 4 years, the White House hid President Biden from Republican senators, would not let him meet with us. He served 40 years in this body. We all know him. And they deliberately lied. And by the way, Jake Tapper had a bombshell book exposing the incredible scandal that Biden's mental decline was covered up by Jake Tapper.
Welcome back, Patriots, to America Mindset. Today, we're diving into one of the most shocking and infuriating revelations about the Biden administration. Senator Ted Cruz just delivered a scathing speech, exposing what might go down in history as one of the most brazen betrayals of the American people. If you care about democracy, accountability, and the future of this country, you're going to want to stick around for this. Let's watch the video.
Thank you. Senator Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Biden administration may go down in history as the most brazen constitutional fraud in American history. A Potemkin presidency fronted by a failing puppet with staffers behind the scenes pulling the strings. This is not political hyperbole. The American people saw it with their own eyes during the June 2024 debate. Numerous times, Biden stood frozen behind the podium, mouth agape, eyes frozen and unblinking. When he did speak, his words were confused and disjointed. I said that night, this is the most consequential presidential debate in history because it will result in one of the two candidates being removed from the ballot. That was exactly right. And following that debate, the Democrats recognized the collapse. They pulled out their knives and took out President Biden like Caesar on the Ides of March. For all of their strutting about, protesting that they support democracy, not a one of them gave a damn about democracy when they pulled Biden off the ballot and dropped Kamala Harris in without a single Democrat primary voter voting for him. And you know what? Not a single Democrat is here today because not a single one of them gives a damn about the fact that they lied to the American people for 4 years. They knew. Every one of them knew that Joe Biden was mentally not competent to do the job. The White House press secretary, she knew when she stood in front of the American people and lied over and over and over again. And they're not here because they can't defend themselves. It wasn't a surprise. For 4 years, the White House hid President Biden from Republican senators, would not let him meet with us. He served 40 years in this body. We all know him. And they deliberately lied. And by the way, Jake Tapper had a bombshell book exposing the incredible scandal that Biden's mental decline was covered up by Jake Tapper. There's a Yiddish word, chutzpah. And that truly is chutzpah. How dare we lie and cover up what we all knew? Now, I have been asked literally 1,000 times by Texans, who was running the country? And I'm going to give you the most terrifying answer. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. And not a single Democrat here cares. The most telling proof of Biden's decline came with the signature of the president, the symbol of executive authority that was outsourced to a machine. Mr. Wold, you're a lawyer who served in the White House counsel's office. You understand the gravity of presidential action. Does the president's signature carry legal and constitutional weight under Article 2?
Yes.
Is the act of signing an executive order or signing a law or granting a pardon a delegable duty of the president?
So in that opinion in 2005 from OLC, they said essentially that an Autopen could be used by a subordinate, but the president's determination as to sign the document can never be delegated.
Can that authority be transferred to a staffer or a machine without the president's explicit authorization?
Never.
And if you look at the statistics are stunning. In 2021, President Biden issued 78 executive orders. None were signed with an Autopen. That first year of the presidency, Biden, I suppose, was relatively lucid, and 78 executive orders he signed by hand. The second year, however, we see the Autopen emerge. The first Autopen executive order was issued on July 15th, 2022. After that day, 100% of the executive orders issued in 2022 were signed by an Autopen. In 2023, Biden issued 24 executive orders. 16 were Autopenned. In 2024, Biden issued 19. 14 were Autopenned. In 2025, Biden issued 14 executive orders. Every single one was Autopenned. Mr. Wald, let me ask you as a legal matter, if there's a law that's passed both houses of Congress and it goes to the White House, and a staffer Autopens signing that law without the president's authorization, is that law legally passed and signed into law?
No.
If an executive order is issued and a staffer Autopens it without the president's authorization, is that executive order legally binding?
No.
And if a pardon is issued from the President of the United States and a staffer Autopens it without the president's authorization, is that pardon legally binding?
No.
Under the Biden White House, the ceremonial song, Hail to the Chief, was effectively replaced with Hail to the Pen. And it was an outright assault on democracy. And every reporter covering this ought to ask, why doesn't a Democrat care? We heard about the moral responsibilities of a staffer. How about an elected senator who knows damn well that if we get into a war and Iran is preparing to fire a nuclear weapon at the United States, that the commander-in-chief is busy playing with his Jell-O and is not competent to defend ourselves? And every member of the cabinet, the chief of staff, the press secretary, and the members of Congress who lied about this on a daily basis with the press's complicity, they are all responsible for subverting democracy.
Senator Cornyn.
First off, let's talk about what Senator Cruz called a puppet presidency. Now, I've said it before on this channel, and I'll say it again, Joe Biden was never fit to serve as president. Cruz pointed to the infamous June 2024 debate where Biden stood frozen like a deer in the headlights. His mouth was open, his eyes unblinking, and when he did speak, it was a jumble of incoherent words. I mean, come on, folks. How can anyone watch that and not see the writing on the wall? And here's the kicker. Democrats knew. They knew from the beginning that Biden was mentally unfit, but instead of being honest with the American people, they propped him up like a puppet. Why? Because they wanted to maintain their grip on power at all costs. This wasn't leadership. It was manipulation. Now, here's where it gets even worse. After that disastrous debate, the Democrats pulled Biden from the 2024 ballot and replaced him with Vice President Kamala Harris. Did they let their primary voters decide? No. Not a single Democrat voter got a say in this. They just handed Harris the nomination on a silver platter. And these are the same people who lecture us about democracy. Where was the democracy when they stabbed their own president in the back like Caesar on the Ides of March? They didn't care about democracy. They cared about saving face and holding on to power. Let's talk about something that should outrage every single American, the Autopen scandal. Senator Cruz revealed some jaw-dropping statistics. In 2021, Biden signed all his executive orders by hand. But by 2022, 100% of his executive orders were signed using an Autopen machine. By 2025, every single executive order was machine-signed. Now think about this. The president's signature is supposed to symbolize executive authority. It's a sacred act under Article 2 of the Constitution. But instead of Biden making those decisions himself, they handed the authority over to a machine. Let me ask you this. Who is really running the country during all of this? I'll tell you what's terrifying. I don't know, and neither does Senator Cruz. Here's the legal bombshell. According to testimony Cruz referenced, any law, executive order, or pardon signed by an Autopen without explicit presidential authorization isn't legally valid. That means much of what the Biden administration did could be unconstitutional. Let that sink in for a moment. We're talking about a White House that undermined the very foundation of our government. the rule of law. This isn't just incompetence, it's an assault on democracy. And where were the Democrats during all of this? Nowhere to be found. Not a single Democrat senator showed up to answer for these accusations. Why? Because they can't defend themselves. They lied to the American people for 4 years, and now they're running for cover. And let's not forget the media's role in this mess. Senator Cruz mentioned Jake Tapper's book, which exposed how Biden's mental decline was covered up. The media knew, folks. They knew, and they help hide the truth. They're just as guilty as the Democrats in this cover-up. Now, let's talk about the real-world consequences of this failure. Imagine we're in a crisis. Say, Iran is preparing to launch a nuclear weapon against the United States. Who's making the decisions? According to Cruz, the commander-in-chief might be sitting there playing with his jello, completely incapable of defending this nation. This isn't just a political issue. It's a national security disaster. Every single official who participated in this cover-up put our country at risk. They subverted democracy, and now they've endangered the lives of every American. So what do we do about it? First, we hold these people accountable. Every Democrat senator, every White House staffer, every media outlet that participated in this deception, they need to answer for their actions. Second, we demand transparency. No more hiding behind closed doors. The American people deserve to know who's really running the show in Washington. And finally, we fight to restore integrity to our government. This isn't about Republicans versus Democrats. It's about saving the soul of our nation. Patriots, this is why channels like American Mindset exist. We're here to shine a light on the truth, no matter how much the mainstream media tries to bury it. If you're as outraged as I am, make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. And remember, this country belongs to we the people. It's time to stand up, speak out, and take it back. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.